Okay, what if I said you are neurotic and a monomaniac? What I mean is neuroticism is basically being under a state of anxiety for so many years that it has become a personality trait. And monomania, what I mean by that term is simply spending a lot of time on one activity to the exclusion of most others. So why would you be neurotic and monomaniacal? In a nutshell, you are someone on the autism spectrum who has tried to figure out the neurotypical world. And at some level, that has been extremely difficult, in some cases impossible. What does that result in? A lot of anxiety. And if you have this anxiety over a number of years or decades, it becomes a personality trait. So now we're talking neuroticism. So what does a neurotic do? They try to alleviate their anxiety, in this case by engaging in a special interest for lengthy periods of time because it's relaxing. But unfortunately, it causes problems because as a child, your parents are pissed because you're spending all your time with your special interest instead of doing homework. And with your spouse, she's pissed because you're spending all your time doing your special interest instead of spending time with her. So your special interest calms you down, takes the anxiety away for the moment, but increases your anxiety in the long term because now people are upset with you because you've disengaged from the neurotypical world. And why wouldn't you? Since this world doesn't fit at some level. Think of it like this. What if you were able to travel to planet Autism and everybody up there had an autism spectrum disorder, and we're talking about ASD level 1 or high functioning autism, Asperger's syndrome, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's the same though. So now you don't have to try to figure out the neurotypicals because they ain't got no neurotypicals up there. So you're up there on planet Autism. There's no anxiety now because everybody's the same. So therefore you haven't turned into a neurotic because you have, in other words, you haven't had a long-standing anxiety over decades, and now your anxiety has turned into a personality trait called neuroticism. So that doesn't exist. And now there's no need to be a monomaniac, in other words, engage in one special activity all the time to the exclusion of most others, because there's no anxiety to run from. Yeah, in this little fantasy world here on planet Autism, it's possible that everybody is engaging in their special activity, but it doesn't matter because that is the norm. That's what everybody is doing. You don't get chastised for doing that because that is the normal thing to do. So now the question becomes, is high functioning autism truly a disorder? Well, in a neurotypical world, yes, it is a disorder. In other words, it's a bad order. Translation, it's an unpopular way to connect with people that are neurotypicals. But on planet Autism, where there are no neurotypicals, the autistic brain is now typical. So in this way, there would be no disorder. Instead, it would be order.